All right, we are live with 101 Small Business Mastermind. I think this is podcast number 11, guys. So that's really good for us. We're building our little stuff up, and we got Mark Giardino just coming in here, and so we should also be live over at 101smallbusinessmastermind.com as well. And with us today, we've got our cadre of individuals. Dick Bentley, say hi, Dick.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Peter, Mark.
Good morning,
Frank.
And then Frank Seringa.
Good morning. Yes, sir. Good morning.
Did I get it right?
No, but you're getting so much closer.
Man.
Really.
Okay,
Any day now.
I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to do that. You're gonna have to drill that into me. And then Mark Giardino. Mark, how are you today?
Good morning, Peter. How are you? Good morning, Dick and Frank. How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good. Good. So today we're going to cover our fourth in the series of internet marketing pieces, and then we're going to swing right full circle into Frank's This Week in News twin discoveries and lessons. And then we'll open it up for a general topic, and I actually think I want to talk about Tupperware parties, a little secret. So, all right, let me kick my side off here. I've got something to share, if I can do that. See if I can get that to work right for me. And this is something I want to share right there. I believe that's true. You guys tell me when you see my sharing screen here.
It's on now.
Okay, good. Okay, so we've been really dealing with basically everything on the website, the keywords, and all the different things you do here. The fourth piece of this is all your SEO off-page SEO stuff that needs to get out there. And then basically what you've got is when you do podcasting, you can put them up on YouTube like we do here, and you link the podcast back to the site. You create what they call a link wheel. You can do article marketing, which means you write articles and put them at high page rank sites and use your keywords and links back to your site. That gives you authority from Google. Then you can also get in and get Yelp reviews, get your people doing Yelp reviews, Google reviews. 411 sites are local information sites, and these include the likes of Yelp and Manta, and there's a boatload of them, and there's a site you can go to find what information they have. And basically these 411 sites have wrong information if you've been in business for a while. They go out and they scrape the web for your information. So if you move, you change your address, or you change your telephone number, whatever, change your website, it'll have old data. And so you got to go in each one of these and correct all of that data. But that's also the type of thing that you use keywords in if you can, and links back to your site. Then you have the whole backlink campaign, and then finally, over here, your social media. Now, Google is tending through Panda and Penguin to throttle traffic to sites that they deem not worthy of the traffic. So, but they can't throttle you when you use Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, Blogger. You can get an Amazon store if you're in selling. You can get an eBay store. Those huge internet presence, they can't throttle that, nor would they ever try to. So on your off-page SEO plans, you should consider the things I'm talking about here as a way to get more traffic and to get your footprint larger out on the web. And with that, I will stop sharing. I think everybody can do that. I can stop sharing that screen. Okay. So that's kind of the big picture there of off-page SEO, the last installment of what you got to do for your small business. And I did that in less than 5 minutes, believe it or not. Any questions on that before we move on?
Well, I'd like to make a comment, Peter.
Well, I have a question. How important is this to a one-guy shop, to a one-person shop, one-woman shop?
It's vitally important, and the reason you want traffic. If you don't have any traffic, you can't sell anything. you essentially have an online brochure, which is the big challenge, for anybody on the web, is to get traffic. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's long. It's a long distance runner. Everything you do, you'd like to see results the next day. Not going to happen. And there's some good news and bad news with that. The inertia on the web is huge, but once you get some movement, it doesn't stop easily either. So, there's a double-edged sword there. But it's vitally important if you want to be found and have traffic from the web. Okay? And Mark, you had a comment?
No, go ahead. You had a follow-up, Frank? Did you have a follow-up question?
I guess what I'm saying is just the comment on what Peter said. I guess the web is your microphone. Again, you can talk as loud as you want in your home office, but if nobody's hearing you, you're talking to yourself. And I guess unless you have a presence, and the right presence with the right hooks, like you've been talking about the last 4 weeks, you're talking to yourself. Nobody's listening to you. And extremely important. I agree.
Okay.
That's it.
Mark?
Right. And again, how we started this this SEO educational course, we started with our interior SEO, and now, like Peter was saying, we're at our exterior SEO. But we still have to remember that we go back to our keywords that we did with our first video on this SEO instructions, that we establish our keywords when we put them on our website, but also we still have a great tools with all this exterior SEO to use our keywords. Very
true. Yeah, so the keywords, like I always go back to, are the heart and soul of everything we do. And some people say SEO is dead. That can't possibly be true, because if you're going to go look for something on Google, you type in a phrase, a keyword, and that's how they're going to get found. I mean, that's ridiculous to say that's true. Now, it may be true that it's getting more difficult to get SEO traffic. That's a possibility, because of Google directly shutting down traffic to legitimate websites. They're trying to go after the 1% of non-legitimate websites, and they hurt the 99% of the rest of us. So I'm not a big Google fan these days because of throttling traffic. I just think that's traffic cop time that shouldn't be doing. That's not their business. We shouldn't be doing that. That's my opinion.
And like you're saying, I think it's never-ending battle that we are in. One day we think we have a solution with our social, with our SEO, and then something changes, and then we have to adjust. So it's always a constant give and take with our SEO program.
Yeah, it's a constant battle. I mean, just like Facebook is now throttling traffic, and their term is you got to pay to play. And so you put a post on Facebook, it used to go to all your friends, now it doesn't. And they throttle it back, and they want to charge you. Oh, do you want all your friends to see this? You want to get it out a little further? Pay us this amount of money. And they got to stay alive too. I understand that, but doing it from traffic sense, boy, I sure don't like that option. That just, I don't know. I don't like that option.
I think what that does is puts organic SEO in an extreme battle. What we're up against with that.
Oh, I agree. And for those of us that have been used to playing the organic SEO game, it's gotten far more difficult. That's why I suggest embrace social media marketing, and they do not control Twitter. Now, Twitter can control itself, mind you, just like Facebook is, but if you get your message out across all of those medias, and you fold in the other aspects of article marketing, the podcasting, it becomes very, very difficult for them to throttle you back, because you're all over the place. Now, unfortunately, they do own YouTube, so they could throttle you there, and probably do. But there's Vimeo, there's Blip.tv. I'm not great fans of them these days, but there's a lot of other choices out there.
And also, Sports Refer is the idea of Sports Refer is going to be the SEO aspect of it too, of a social media site. So once you are established and with your profile on Sports Refer, that will help your SEO in your social media campaign.
Yeah. It's yes, the simple yes will do. Any other questions on that, Dick? Do you want to weigh in on this at all? I think you muted your mic, Dick.
I was coughing here, so I did.
There we
Oh,
go.
okay, good.
Just listening to you and Mark talk, I'm a small business owner, but I don't, I'm not that needy on the web for my business, But if I'm a small business owner and I'm listening to talk, I say to myself, why do I do this? I got 4 people, 5 people work for me, 10 people work for me. I invest all this time and resources, and then Google's following me back, Facebook's following me back. Uh, what advice would you give a small business guy on how to participate and maybe avoid some of the pitfalls of Google and Facebook trying to, get money out of you?
Well, and Yelp. Let's throw Yelp in there too for that. But
Yeah, yeah.
one really clean thing. We did a really good podcast this last week. Dick and I did on Legal Shield, the back end, the client's what do I the client's back end website to Legal Shield and all the items that it has there. And we essentially did this to assist Dick in showing and showcasing all of the wonderful benefits of being a Legal Shield member. As a matter of fact, I found out I bought one suit last year, that would have paid for almost 4 to 6 months of my Legal Shield fees on what I would have saved by identifying myself as a Legal Shield member. Of course, I wasn't then, but so from a small business standpoint, Dick, utilizing podcasting or other web-based stuff, even for a small business, Google can throttle traffic all day. But if you're doing your common networking thing and you can send people to something that supports your business and allows them to watch it or read it or consume it at their own will, own time, is a great way for a business to support themselves, even if they're not getting traffic from the web. They at least have good materials and well thought out marketing materials and podcasting that they can send to a client for them to consume and understand the product better.
Right.
Now that's one way of doing it for sure. And of course, when you put it out there like that, you're gonna, you're bound to have some people run across it regardless of what Google's doing.
Right. Yeah, I've received a couple of good positive feedback comments on that video that I've sent out, and I also tweeted it out to 300 and something people that follow me, and got a couple of retweets. So it was I think you're right. I think and it's fairly painless to do, and it's a great way to communicate.
At least for one of us. At least for one of us.
Yeah. Well, for you it was not an easy one because of
we had
issues, so.
just for everybody else. Well, I didn't know it, but we had a membership number up there that we shouldn't have had visible, so I had to go through the whole thing and cloud that part, and then every time I moved and changed stuff, it would go this way and go that way, and I had to tween stuff. I actually worked harder on that video than I have on any video in my entire career to get a 17-minute video so you don't see a membership number. But
and also, Dick, too, I just want to say, I think with the social media campaign, exposure in all ways. You expose your website, you expose your business, you expose what you're about, and it gets out there in an international market.
I think I started watching this new series called Life on Hulu Plus. Really good show. One of them had a PR person in it who said, "Use everything you can all the time," which kind of sounds crazy, but in fact, it's true on the web. You use everything you can all of the time.
That's it.
All right.
Well, thanks for the feedback on that. I was just wanted to make sure that any small business person listening to us doesn't get intimidated by all this and realizes that there are ways that they can still be very successful in this world. So.
Oh yeah, it's again, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. So you get educated by these podcasts, you put it out and understand what your options are, understand what your budget is, try to understand where you want to go with this, pick a couple of these things and get going, you know?
Yeah.
And for myself, I could say there's a lot of trial and error. You know, don't be afraid to post something or do something, and if it doesn't really work out, you adjust and you move on. But in time, you realize what works, what doesn't, and then the next step becomes a little bit easier in your SEO social media campaign.
Yeah, it's not a shot in the dark. Well, it sort of is, but I meant in the old way of thinking, it's not a fart in a frying pan, which has no life expectancy at all. You just got to keep doing it,
Right.
and then it mounts up out there in time. Your footprint just gets larger and larger and larger. All right,
Okay.
so let's head over to Frank.
Before we go, let me throw again. I don't even know what this means. Fly in the ointment here, because that's what I do. I throw flies in ointments, and I don't know what those. I contend, and shoot me down. I contend that if you do everything that you can all the time, as that person said, and people go to your website, and you do not entertain them in some way, they will find you and they will leave you within seconds.
Oh yeah.
My feeling is that the internet, and I know this is going to be extreme, and Dick loves when I go to extremes. The internet is an entity vehicle. Well, oh, by the way, I want to impress you and do all the other stuff so you think I'm a cool person and you should do business with me. But unless I keep your attention and show you that I am relevant to what you are looking for, I'm looking at my screen here, that little X box in the upper right-hand corner, bingo, you're gone. Or the back button, you're gone. You know, I found you. You spent all the time getting me to go to your site. I went there and you lost me within the first few seconds. I'm out of here. Is that a fair statement to make?
Oh yeah, and
Frank,
that goes all the way back to our original lesson, so to speak. I mean, when you get on that page, video is sexy. You know that people like to watch; they don't like to read much anymore. So, yeah, I mean, getting people there is one thing, which you actually were kind of talking backwards about. Usually, you talk all the SEO off-page stuff to drive people back to your page, and then how good your site is called conversion. You know, converting visitors to clients, and that's what you're talking about, Frank. You know, what are the techniques, and stay centered on the fact that you have any visitors at all, you want to convert them, and you use every tool possible for that conversion. Sometimes it's a good sales letter. Most of the times it's a good video or a podcast series they get hooked into. You know, but yeah, that's completely fair.
but Frank,
Okay.
see,
Cool.
we're on cliches here. I'll throw one out. I think you just stated the obvious, and I think that no matter what decade we've been in, and I've been in business for I guess I don't know 5 decades or whatever. That always has been the case. No matter how you got a customer to listen to you, he would stop listening if you didn't provide him some interesting, valuable services.
If you
So
don't
I
have
think
to,
that I think that no matter what vehicle you use, the customer's either going to like you or not like you. So I think that's could be said for since the beginning of time or commerce rather. So
well, let me jump in there 2 seconds. But I think you both gentlemen are right. There's no right or wrong here. But one thing Frank does point out is that what is the purpose once they get onto your site? If you can't make it interesting, they are going to leave, and that's a whole conversion question.
well,
You know.
Peter, you're absolutely right. But when I first started selling, I'd knock on a customer's office door, go in, and if I get him to show him something that was interesting, he wouldn't do business with me. I
Oh, of
mean,
course. I agree with you
my
completely.
point is, yeah, you have to have content. I don't, just because you have a website doesn't mean you're going to become a millionaire out of it. So that's my only point.
Clearly, and Mark and I will say it together. Content is what, Mark?
Is crucial.
King.
Is
It's king.
is
Content is king, baby. Yeah. So I mean, you're right, Frank. Good good set of discussions and a good focus for small business owners about their website. They've got to have something of value. Remember the lesson I gave last week about why do people pay you money? They pay you money because you add value in their life, and when you stop adding value in their life, they're going to stop paying you money, and that's the bottom line. And you have to look at every web page with that in mind, no question.
Okay.
Thanks, frankly.
Okay. We'll come back to this. I almost agree. Almost.
Okay,
Agree.
good. No, that's good.
Yeah,
So let's head over to Twin. What are we going to learn this week there, Frank?
This week in items here. Okay. Again, I was looking for a. Remember the old news ticker sounds they used to make with the ticker tapes coming in. I couldn't find it on my iPhone to have a little better background, but I'll keep looking. Okay, this week in news, I have a few items here to discuss. Item number one. Every year there's a customer satisfaction survey that is done by the American Customer Satisfaction, as a matter of fact, and they review the customer satisfaction of 12 major fast food chains, and it's all the ones that we're familiar with, Papa John's and Burger King and Dunkin' Donuts, that kind of thing. And for the 20th year in a row, and I think this should be noticed, for the 20th year in a row, McDonald's came in last in customer satisfaction. They're getting a little bit better, but they are still last. Yeah, McDonald's, who is the benchmark for all fast food chains. Yeah, they had a 71% customer satisfaction survey, which means 3 out of every 10 customers are not satisfied when they go to McDonald's. Now that's a lot. McDonald's continues to grow, and we talked about McDonald's last week, as a matter of fact. Now, how can a customer survive when 3 out of 10 of their customers are not satisfied? Well, in that case, it's the law of large numbers. They have so many more people who are satisfied. 7 out of 10 are satisfied, and yet they're having a problem. Starbucks, because we talked about Starbucks last week. Starbucks are tied for 7th place with Burger King, and Starbucks is at 76% along with Burger King. The top one, by the way, Papa John's Pizza was number 1. And the quote in the article is, as your customers get more diverse, and we talked about this last week, it gets more difficult to satisfy them all. Okay, and Dick brought up how McDonald's targets the dollar a cup of coffee chain. Starbucks goes after the $2 to $4 a cup of coffee people. And the lesson here is that we talk to a lot of small business owners, which is what we do, whether they've been in business for a while, mainly with startups, and you say, and the question we get most of the time is everyone. And I said, well, no, you misunderstood. Who do you serve the best? And the answer we get back is, yes, I was serious, everyone. My product is so diverse, so well-rounded, so well thought out, and they go bada bing, bada boom. I serve everybody the best, and they're wrong. And they're wrong. Unless you're a McDonald's, and even McDonald's can't serve everyone the best. So the question that I've is, who needs what you do the most? And all of a sudden it puts a different perspective on it. Who needs your product or your service or your legal shield or your sports refer or your SEO work or what I do in prospecting? Who needs you the most? And it's interesting because when you ask the question that way, you get a broad, and I'm putting my arms out here, you get a broad spectrum, and I say, okay, that's great. And then add the word and. Well, I've even most are people who have trouble getting leads. Everybody has trouble getting leads, so I'm doing it on myself. And what else? Well, and they don't like networking. Okay, now People need leads, and it's interesting. The more you drill down on who needs you the most, the better your chance of success. McDonald's can afford to have 3 out of 10, every 10 of their customers be unsatisfied. You as a small business owner cannot. You cannot have that kind of impact, which is why I think the big lesson here is that identify who needs you the most in the most minutest detail you can, and those are the people you should go after first. Now, we've all been in business startups, and we're so hungry for leads, and then we're so hungry for sales. This, matter of fact, the most blatant example was I started a software company, and I travel around the country raising money from medical doctors, and I would fly Southeast. I did a lot of work in Southeast and Midwest. Meet with doctors and ask them for X amount of thousands of dollars, and I got some to obviously to do it, and I put up my product, and I was so hungry to have any kind of success that I took the first customer that came and said, "Hey, I'd like to buy," and in this case, it was an OBGYN out of Kansas City. He said, "I'd like to buy 5 copies of your system," and I knew he wasn't right, but I needed the sale. And here's the mistake I made. I said, I can convert him from a not good prospect, probably a not good customer, into a raving fan if I just do my magic. And the fact of the matter is I had no magic. And he turned out to be a nightmare, and it cost me dearly. So the lesson on twin number 1 here about customer satisfaction, you've got to pick the customer who needs you the most. That's your best chance of getting success, your best chance of getting testimonials, and your best chance of growing your business. Gentlemen, I open it for discussion.
I like it. Can you read the list? Can you read the top?
Yeah. I'll give you the name and the percent satisfied out of 100. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Papa John's was 82%. Well, Pizza Hut 82%. Domino's and Little Caesars was 80%. Subway and Wendy's was 78%. Burger King and Starbucks was 76%. Dunkin' Donuts 75%. Kentucky Fried Chicken 74%. Taco Bell 72%, and McDonald's 71%. Those are the top 12 chains.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. That's shocking. I wonder how they did that.
Again, and I think the point is they can have 3 out of every 10 customers not be happy because they have so many more happy customers. Small business owners, I don't believe, can afford that. Especially with Yelp and online reviews, it will kill them.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
We're all hungry for cash flow. We're all hungry for that first deal, or third deal, or 20th deal, whatever it is. Or when sales are down, we'll take anybody just to get some cash flow. Man, that is, let's say, it didn't kill my company. Other things killed my software company, but it really set me back a great deal, both in time, money, and prestige with that, when I did that client in Kansas City. So,
I think we've all had clients from hell. I know I have. There was one particular client that we could never please that client, and she just kept coming at us and at us and at us. We threw thousands upon thousands of dollars of hours trying to satisfy this person who, of course, would not be satisfied because she kept getting free stuff with us trying to fix the problem, that she creates. So, yeah, I understand those. Okay, what's another?
Let me. Well, no, let me say this. Did you know, how soon up front did you know that this person was not going to be a good customer?
Well, oddly enough, I was brought in as the cleaner up guy. The web guys that did her stuff just finally they gave up because they promised a photo shoot of her pictures. She's an artist, and there's 2 types of people you never do business with on the web, as far as I'm concerned. One is an artist, the other one is a jeweler. Is never satisfied with anything you do. Tough stuff, and rightfully so. And they need a professional photographer, and so they went out and shot the pictures, and with a camera that wasn't the best in the world, and the lighting that wasn't the best in the world, and they turned out horrible. And so they had to go do it again, and they tried again, and Uh, and it just kept going on like this. Then she wanted a black background, which black backgrounds are for porn sites, and she wanted inverse video, goldenrod writing on black background, everything wrong. Wouldn't listen to anything. And it's finally you throw up your hands. Okay, I'll do exactly what you say. And I even got to the point where I said, okay, to the client, you're going to have to give her money back, walk away. Just stop this nonsense, because she's using the system against itself. So, but I knew I was in there to fix it, and got sucked right into her situation, and I tried 3 times to fix it, and finally I threw up my hands too. But yeah, it wasn't long before that, Frank, that I knew she was an issue.
Also, we find, Peter, that you and I have been doing this, especially you've been doing it for SEO and internet for decades now, and I've spent my life, the last 3 years, 4 years in this business, and we've done our research, and when we try to explain things to people, and they just they ignore us, or just flat out refuse to do what we say, what is best, and it gets frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, it gets costly too, because we tell them what the right answer is, and they don't care. They want it this way, and then later they blame you, because they can't blame themselves. They'll blame you.
And not only will they blame you, they'll tell all of their peers.
Yep.
That it was your fault because it makes them look better.
Yep.
Where I don't know if I mentioned this on the air last week, but when I first moved out here, I became a marketing director for a singles group in Pasadena. I don't know if that was on the air or off the air.
Yeah, no, that was on.
Yeah, okay. That was on or off?
No, that was on the air.
Anyway.
Brilliant.
Okay, then I can bring it up. One of the lessons that really put me in good stead. Now, I know Dick and I went back on this a few weeks ago about you are the prize. One of the lessons I learned too late from the software company that I started, but and again, I've been in sales just a few years less than Dick has, but we would go into every sales, and I did my cold calling and that type of thing in a software business. We always said, how can I make this prospect a customer? And our job was to find how we could convert them to a customer, and our job was to handle all objections and do all the things that we were all taught to do. My approach now is different. When I meet someone new, I describe my philosophy, what I do, and so forth. And the first question in my mind is, how can this person or company show me or prove to me that they would make a good customer? They've got to sell me that I should work with them. I bring years of experience, a lot of expertise, much wisdom and passion for what I do, or else we wouldn't be in the business. I can, if they are the right person, right company, the right people, I can lead them to where they want to go, because I do what I do very, very well. But if they're not only will I will create a bad customer, which will cost me dearly, as it did in that doctor in Kansas City, but I will use time, I will lose sleep, and I will lose ambition, because it just deflates when somebody talks bad about you after you've try to do your good thing. So I think small business have got to emphasize work with the people who need you the most, and you have a much better chance of success. Fair enough?
Fair enough. Okay.
Okay.
Twin number
yes.
2.
Do we have time?
Oh, yeah. We have plenty of time.
Okay, twin number. Yeah. I follow, because coming from the high tech, I follow a lot of high tech people, and you know how my admiration for Steve Jobs, the business person, my admiration for Bill Gates, and all these people, Elon Musk, and so forth. And I have 2 daughters, and one of the women that I really admire is a woman named Marissa Mayer. If you know who she is, she's CEO of Yahoo. And Marissa Mayer is 39 years old. Mom, I just had a baby. She had her BS and her master's from Stanford, outstanding school. Um, she started off at Google. She was employee number 20 at Google and ran up the ranks. She was just awesome. Whatever she did, everything she touched went well, working for Larry Page and Sergey Brin. And then Yahoo says, we've got to bring Marissa Mayer over. And this was, I think, Mr. Yang brought her over. And she's been there. And you might agree or disagree with what she's done, but she's made a lot of changes. In the last 5 years, Marissa Mayer has earned $117 million in compensation.
Wow.
With the bonuses and everything. So she's done well. She's done well. Last year in 2013, Forbes magazine named her one of the 100 most powerful women in the world. She brings a great pedigree. And as a CEO of Yahoo, you know, she travels well. She doesn't fly Delta. I assume she has a company jet. She has a lot of assistants that cater to her as well. They should. But she's a hard ass. Okay, she knows what she wants and she gets what she wants. And she had a COO named Enrique de Castro, who she terminated. And I don't know why she terminated him, but he was in charge of a lot of stuff. Okay, and they had some kind of friction, and she terminated him. And rather than replacing him, she brought her on herself because, like she envisions herself as a superwoman. Yahoo's future rests largely on dollars that they get from advertising. That's where they make their money. And she was invited to Cannes, France, for a private dinner party at a swanky restaurant with three heavy hitters. One was a heavy hitter from Mendelez, which is a huge multi-billion-dollar snack company out of Europe. Another one was Miller Coors, we know the beer people, and the other one was Chobani Yogurt. And it was set up by one of her top people, and it was a very private dinner. And this is something that Mr. DeCastro would have handled in the past, but now he was gone, so Marissa Mayer handled herself. You couldn't do any better than that. The queen comes in, and she's awesome. Marissa got tired and went back to the hotel and just took a quick nap. She was over 2 hours late for her dinner, and the gentleman left. Wow. She overslept. Now, she will be able to recover because I believe she will. But can you imagine these three heavy hitters? And I assume they flew into Cannes, France as well in order to have this private dinner with one of the 100 most powerful women in the world, and she overslept. Where was her assistant to wake her up in time? Where was her iPhone with the alarm on it? Where was all these things? It failed her. The lesson here is, if Marissa Mayer, with all of these great advantages, can make a mistake like that, she will be able to recover, I believe. She got a lot of bad press, but she'll recover because she's with Yahoo. Imagine if a small business owner had done that and had blown off one of a great prospect that went out of their way to have a private meeting with you and you did not get there. The lesson is, do not take on more than you can handle. Small business owners have a lot of things to do, and one of the problems that I have that I constantly work on is prioritize what's most important today. Okay, we can't afford to be late 2 hours late for a private dinner, or 2 hours late for a meeting, or even at a McDonald's. We've got to be able to prioritize what we have to do the most. And it's interesting because what is most important on our to-do list is the thing we want to do the least because we put it off until the end. And those are things that we have to tackle. So that's lesson from Marissa Mayer, missing her private dinner at Cannes, France. Feedback, gentlemen.
Well, I can say you don't jump out of an airplane without a second chute. She forgot her second chute. You know?
Yeah, she did.
Fail to plan is to plan to fail. That's a tagline from Benjamin Franklin.
Well, the thing is, she had all of the. I assume she doesn't travel alone. She travels with assistants. Someone should have said, "Hey, Marissa, I'll wake you up at whatever time it was. I'll call your room, make sure that something fell through the crack where now that never should have happened. But it did for one of the most powerful women in the world. Imagine what it will do to a small business owner. So that is a problem. Okay.
But Frank, I think that she has got to accept full responsibility for that happening, not blame it on her assistants or the iPhone. I mean, she should have said, "I'm taking a nap. Make sure you wake me up at this point."
Precisely.
If she just went back to her room and went to sleep without saying anything, and I agree with you, she's a pretty impressive lady. I've read a lot about her, but that would be very unimpressive. She should have said, "Guys, I'm jet lagged. I need an hour's sleep, and I need a half hour to get ready." Bang on the door, knock it down, but make sure I'm up at this time. So
I agree.
Well, I think it's Bush's fault myself.
Thank you, Bob Beckel.
Okay, there you go. Oh, you're actually the Beckel guy,
Okay, just get into politics. There you go. Okay.
You
got topic, Peter, or do you want one more?
I just want to finish one part of that thought, Frank. I think, like you said, don't take on more than you can handle. I think you can't. You have to, as a small business owner, you have to make sure that the people that you count on know exactly what you want to do, when you want to do it, and what they need to do. I think the communications failed on that one. And if you communicate with your people and you say, "I have to be at so and so at 11 o'clock," regardless, make sure I'm out of here at 10:30, so people are aware of it. So I think the communications failed on that one.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's amazing that with all the resources she has at her fingertips. I mean, she has people that will run to Starbucks, get her a cup of coffee. And you're right. It is 100%. Again, we don't know. All I know is what I read. I wasn't there, but she has, and I believe she has taken full responsibility for it. But
I can almost bet that it'll never happen again.
No,
that's right.
That'll never happen.
I agree as well. I agree as well.
Yeah, let's do number 3. Let's do number 3.
Sure. Okay. All right. Twin number 3, Elon Musk. You know how my admiration for Mr. Musk. He was one of the co-founders of PayPal. You know what that has done. He started a company called Solar City, which is solar heating for residential, commercial, and he put his brother in charge. He's out of South Africa. He started a company called SpaceX, which is doing private air travel, competing with the Richard Bransons of the world. And matter of fact, he's trying to get a contract now with the government to do the space shuttle. And oh, by the way, while he's in his spare time, he also started a company called and Tesla produces electric vehicles, electric cars. One of my dreams is to own a Tesla. Okay, I bought a new car recently, and I'm not in a position to buy a $130,000 Model S Tesla, so I bought the next best thing I could find, which was a Prius, which I believe you have as well, Peter.
Yes, I do.
But my goal is to do that. Well, it wasn't easy for Elon to get where he is. He has spent a lot of time. As a matter of fact, I watched a documentary on him the other day. He put almost 100% of his personal wealth, personal fortune that he made from PayPal and all those other ventures to keep Tesla alive. They were that close to going. Matter of fact, at one point in time, he was doing a project for Mercedes, and Mercedes was going to come over and prove to the Daimler-Benz, is the name of the company, prove to Daimler-Benz that he could produce a battery that would run the new Mercedes for their prototype. And 2 days before the meeting, these people were flying over, and they had a payment test, but it wasn't working. And they worked around the clock for 2 days, and they finally got it to work and so forth. But he was down to his last $20 million, which I guess is a really bad place to be. Anyway, so here's this, and spent a lot of time and money getting to his advantage. He has a waiting list longer than he could satisfy people wanting to buy his cars. In fact, he's opening up in China shortly. But with all this expertise and money and time spent in R&D, he's developed a whole lot of patents that have separated him from his competition. And you'll see a bunch of Chevy had the Volt, and and so forth. His is 100% electric. And Elon Musk did something last week which blew everybody away. he made a very bold move. And I'll read this from the thing. I'll read from the press release I got on this. Elon Musk made a very bold move. He publicly announced on the Tesla blog, interesting, he uses a blog, isn't that interesting, Mr. SEO stuff? That Tesla was inviting its competitors to use Tesla's electronic vehicle patents in good faith without fear of patent lawsuits. And in a sense, Elon says, hey, here's what I've learned with all the years and money I have spent. You guys can use it for free. And people said, wow. He just put his competitors on equal footing with him. And people say, well, why would he do this? And there's a couple of reasons why he's doing this. Number one, he now knows what his competitors are going to be using because they're using his stuff.
Yeah, he invented it.
So he will control the direction of the market is heading. Plus, they will have to be using batteries most likely developed by Tesla Motors. They're now in the process of developing a battery which will allow him to drop the price of his electronic car from $130,000 to $35,000. And so he's opened up his patents to everyone. They'll be following his direction because he knows where everything's going on. Plus, they'll eventually have to come back to him to buy the batteries. And I'm saying, wow, here's a guy who went complete opposite of what everybody else was doing in terms of creating the patents, then did what no one else expected to do. He gave the patents for free, and I believe he has more control today of the electronic vehicle market, than he had before he released his patents. So what is the lesson here? The lesson here is this. I don't know of any small business owner that's an Elon Musk and has the quality of patents that they have. But we all have something special that separates us from our competition. Every one of us does. Okay? And if we don't have it, we better find it real fast. Not that you're going to be able to open up to your customers, but back in '87, there was a gentleman named Hanford out of England who got an assignment to create a book. And once I know the name of the book, you'll say, oh, that's who did it, huh? Back in 1987. And the book was called Where's Wally? They brought it to the United States, and you know what they call it? Where's Waldo? Y'all familiar with that?
Oh, yeah.
The Where's Waldo comic? In which it's a picture with a bunch of people that look almost the same, but there's one person named Waldo who has a red and white striped sweater on, and the goal is to find him. And the analogy there is that we're all swimming in the pool of competitors. And my question to small business owners, where's your Waldo? What separates you from all of your competitors? And I guarantee that I can talk to any small business owner, and in the first 3 minutes of conversation, I will identify their Waldo, guaranteed. Every small business owner has a Waldo. And Elon Musk's Waldo was his patents and his electronic car expertise. Every small business needs to have their own Waldo. And gentlemen, I open that up for comments.
I will jump in on that. Love the stories. I mean, these are so valuable today. You know, there's a lot of marketing by telling stories too. But nice segue. If nobody else wants to comment, I'd like to segue into the next thing to show you my Waldo.
There you go. Let's go for it.
That doesn't sound right, mind you, but okay. So I'm assisting the agelesssecret.com guys, and they have a phenomenal product. And one of the big things is, you know, how do you get that news out there when you're up against the likes of Neutrogena, Oil of Olay, big boys? You know, they have huge pockets, lots of advertising money. And so Dick and I were discussing this yesterday or the day before about Tupperware parties. We need an ageless secret anti-aging product house party. And and then Frank and I were talking off air about, you know, it's, you know, it's an original viral component. Well, Fuller Brush did it perfectly. And now lots of people have house parties everywhere from Tupperware to Mary Kay, etc. But this is where we're going to need some help, guys. Frank said we have to be the Uber of house parties. Otherwise, we have to really think out of the box on this thing to make it somewhat different, look the same, so to speak, because people are very comfortable with house parties, but then have something different. So let me open that up. Anybody got any ideas how we can be an Uber house party? Frank?
Um, yeah, you don't want to be another house party because that's already been done. Now, and it works, but you're one of many. Again, here we go. You're Waldo. Dan, you brought the connection. You've got to have a Waldo in your house party, and it's good. And I always again, and I like to go back to music because that's what I enjoyed as a kid. Bonnie Raitt. You know who Bonnie Raitt is? Her father was John Raitt and so forth. She had, again, I only know one real good song by her, and it really is a great business lesson. Bonnie Raitt's song was called "Let's Give Them Something to Talk About." We've got to come up with something for Jim's house parties or whatever you call Tupperware parties, if you will, that people say, "Hey, I just went to this thing for Ageless Secret." And they say, "Oh yeah, one of those." Give them something to talk about. Now, you and I just discussed it at about an hour ago, so we're going to work on that over the next week or so. But we will come up with something that says, "Oh yeah, you were the people that," whatever it is. I'll give an example. DoubleTree Hotel. How many hotel chains are there? Thousands. Okay. DoubleTree is owned by Hilton. What you know what DoubleTree is noted for?
No.
Two
Cookies.
chocolate
Cookies.
chip cookies on your pillow, right, Dick?
Yeah, 2 cookies.
Right. So every night you get, and they're warm out of the oven. What does it cost them? Maybe $1 to do that? But people talk about it. We've got to come up with a Waldo. We've got to come up with a chocolate chip cookie for Jim's house parties. That's what we have to do.
One of the things that Jim's product does is they do a skin test. They actually you can pull your skin and see the elasticity. Then they put the stuff on and do it again, and it actually works. It's incredible stuff, and that might be the Where's Waldo moment for Ageless Secret, a test, so to speak. And that might be the cookies.
Okay.
A test, that you can honestly say, even if you were to take the current product, takes 7 products, by the way, roughly to equate to one of Jim's. And which is another great benefit that we do have is that, it's a day cream, it's a night cream. These are all separate things that women use. It's an exfoliant, it's a hydration tool, but all in one bottle. And so, you can tell the results almost straight away on the skin test for sure. Maybe we give a small sample of one versus the other. I don't know, but there's no doubt. You do one arm and you look at the other arm, and they don't look a lot alike at all. It's the days of having to deal with old skin are gone, literally, and so there's got to be something that we wrap into that somehow.
I am 90% of the way there. Well, I'll have it for you by tomorrow.
Okay, great. And anybody else that weighs in, that's what a mastermind's all about.
Mm-hmm.
We take an idea and we refine it. And Dick and I talked about it right off the bat 2 days ago, and we both really realized that the fastest way to spread this might be, and of course then I went out and bought the URL for it, and I'm putting up the website's already live. I just have to figure out the ins and outs of, do we do credits? You get so many credits if you purchase so much stuff at your party, and what do you get back? And of course, Jim doesn't even know this is coming at him. It might all be for naught, mind you. You might say this is horrible, I'm not going to do it, but this is part of marketing. Is you got to structure these things up and float a trial balloon up, see what they think. You can't argue with the success. You can't, Dick, I'll get right over to you, but you can't argue the success of home parties. They work for a long time, and they work on a lot of different products. Go ahead, Dick.
Right. I was just going to say, the structure of the party could very well be your Waldo. I mean, maybe you have a 5 minute kickoff video from Jim or from Jim's wife with before and afters and all, and then maybe you go into that what you're talking about, how you can truly see the effect on your skin immediately with the people that are there, and kind of flow it in that way. Because everybody always says the video is a good way to go. So maybe something of that nature, and then they have to leave with something. Hopefully they buy stuff. But even for the people, my wife goes to them a lot, and most times she comes home without buying anything. But they should have something that they leave with, whether they buy or not. That
I'm
they
not
take it
inviting
home
her
and
to our
try.
party.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, she's
Yeah.
not invited to
Yeah.
my party. I want her to buy something.
Yeah. But if you give, she's already a customer, by the way. So, but
Oh, that's why
if
she
you
looks
give
so
them,
beautiful.
yes, if you give them uh, uh, something to leave with, that when they go home, they say, well, let me try this, and if they see, all of a sudden they see some results, then they're a customer. So I think you got to consider that too. So.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's interesting is you can't. His product, although you can see it right away, does take a little bit of time to work its total magic. So you need to give them enough
Yeah.
product so they can really see the change.
Yeah.
Unlike if you just give them one thing or they try it that time, they're not hooked. But yeah, we got to think like that, and can't give
Yeah.
away the store either. And there's a fine line in there somewhere. All right.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Okay, so
Okay.
that'll be our tack. Okay, guys, we've got 3 minutes left up on the hour. Anybody want to say anything, or we'll close it out? I guess that's a no. Nobody wants to say anything. All right.
Yeah.
Your silence is deafening. All right, well, say thanks, Frank, for all your twin stuff. That was awesome. I look forward
Oh
to
yeah.
it
Now
every
let
week.
me close with something. I made a statement. I want to
Okay.
back it up. I believe that I can meet with any small business owner, whether it's a business they already have or a business they're going to start, and I will find their Where's Waldo in the first 3 minutes. And I challenge anybody who listens or watches this podcast, if they want to test me out on that, obviously at no charge, they can send a message through 101, our website, I don't know our website.
101smallbusinessmastermind.com.
Right.
Yes.
Send a message to that, and I will set up a phone call, and we will find the Where's Waldo in the first 3 minutes.
But
Guaranteed.
Jim's going to call you in a half hour. Matter of fact,
No problem.
we have another podcast. Jim and I are doing a second podcast on Age of Secret Gold today. So maybe you should come on that and tell us where's Waldo moment. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Why don't you closing comments, Mark?
Well, again, Peter, I just want to say thank you for inviting me to the podcast. I really enjoy it, and every time I listen to you guys, I learn something new.
I think we do too. Dick, you want to closing comment?
No, just that I think it's another good hour spent, and I think it has a lot of valuable information for people that we can all learn with.
And I'll provide a link to the podcast that we did. We talked about too, Dick, the behind the scenes Legal Shield webpage.
Right.
Pretty phenomenal stuff. I'm sure people will be interested in learning about that.
Right.
With that, that's my final comment. Say goodnight, Dick.
Good night, Dick.
All right, that's it. Hang on,
Good night,
guys.
everybody.
We're stopping.